Nyajong. In this video, we are going to talk a little bit about learning the Hmong language and the 3 basic rules you need to know before considering exploring learning the language. One of the first questions I always get about learning how to speak and write the Hmong language is, how easy is it to learn Hmong? Just like any other language in the world, as long as you know the phonic rules and the vocabulary and you practice conversations and you immerse yourself into it, it isn't that hard. One good thing about the Hmong language is that the phonics are consistent. And once you learn about the phonics rules and you learn how to apply them, then it's not that difficult to learn how to write them. Now, speaking Hmong words might take a bit of practice because Hmong is a tonal language, which means that at the end of each Hmong word, you need to know which tone you should use, whether it's a high tone, a mid tone, a low sweeping tone, or a low rising tone. It can completely change the meaning of a word. But here are the 3 basic phonic rules that I would like you to know about in this video. Let's look at number 1. C stands for consonant, V stands for vowel or vowels, and T stands for tone or tonal marks. This is the basic formula to speaking or reading or writing any Hmong word. If you are familiar with these 3 boxes, or if you teach reading or writing, or if you remember learning a language at a very young age, these are called Elkonin boxes, which is just a fancy word for sound boxes. Like I mentioned, Hmong words have 3 parts. And if you go to my channel, I do have another video dedicated to that, so if you have time, make sure you check that out. The first part are consonants, which is also called 尖頭字. It might start with 1 consonant, or it could start with 2 consonant clusters or consonant blends, or it could also have 3 consonant clusters or 3 blends. And even though it's not in this video, Hmong words also have 4 consonant blends. Hmong words almost always have a vowel in the middle, and that can consist of 1 single vowel or a double vowel. Very, very few Hmong words do not have a consonant or a vowel. Vowels are called chian dao nia. And the last part of a Hmong word consists of tones or tonal marks, but we call them gi or gi shua. Gi means to mark something. So the very last part of a Hmong word is marked by a tone. There are 8 tones in Hmong, but 1 is neutral and does not appear. Again, my one other video on my channel explains this. So here you have it, consonant, vowel, tones. Let's look at the word gu, for example. Gu consists of K-U-V or ga, u, yi gu. Ga is the 尖头字, u is the 尖头念, and then the yi gu is the tonal mark or the gi. Gu means me or I. Zhe. If you notice, zhe does not have a tonal mark. And that just means your tone stays neutral. It doesn't go really high or it doesn't go really low or breathy. Here's another Hmong word but it does not have a consonant. It has a yi xia, which spells ah, which is baby. If you notice, when I spoke the word ah, I took my tone up. That's because the B or yi xia is the highest tone. The next rule is that Hmong written language uses RPA, other known as Romanized Popular Alphabet, or simply the ABCs, which the English language uses. The Hmong language doesn't use characters like some of the other languages do. Lastly, but not least, Hmong words are monosyllabic. The word mono means 1. Syllabic means syllable. Every single Hmong word in a sentence, however many you string together, only has one syllable. For example, gu lu ga, I love you. Nya zhong, hello or welcome. Ga nya li ya, how are you doing? I hope that gave you a little bit of an insight on how to read and write in the Hmong language. But remember, to reach fluency in any language, you'll likely need to dedicate at least 2 to 3 years to that language. Continue to write it, speak it, try to read some of it. If you know anybody who speaks that language, try to have a conversation with them, build your vocabulary, and in no time, you may be able to start having basic conversations.